In today's halacha, in sequence of the Chag of the Sefarim, the festival of the Sefarim Heitevis, in which we discussed in the previous class the mitzvah in the Torah and the mitzvah of the Rebbe of Bayis Mali Sefarim, the biblical command for every Jew to buy Torah Sefarim and to learn from them. In today's class, we will discuss the laws relating to Kavod HaSefarim, the respect of Sefarim, and specifically with regards to which Sefarim may be placed on top of each other and which Sefarim may not be placed on top of each other. What is the order regarding placing Sefarim on top of each other? Can something be placed on top of a Chumash? Can a Chumash be placed on top of all Sefarim? What is the status of a Siddur? Can we place Sefarim on top of a Siddur? Can a Gemara go on top of a Mishnayos? Can a Mishnayos go on top of a Gemara? Can you put a Shulchanaruchharav on top of a Gemara? What is the Siddur of the Kedusha? So it's brought down in Shulchanaruchharav, chapter 282, halacha 19, which deals with the laws of Kavod HaSefarim. So in that halacha 19 it states, it is permitted to place a Chumash on top of a Nevi'im or Ksuvim. However, it's forbidden to place a Nevi'im or Ksuvim on top of a Chumash. So a Chumash retains the highest level of holiness, and thus it can be placed on top of Nach, Nevi'im and Ksuvim. However, the opposite order is forbidden. And on the same level, the Mechaber continues and states that one may not place a Chumash on top of a Sefer Torah. Regarding if one may place a Navi on top of Ksuvim or vice versa, so the Ramah writes that there's no order and you can place them on top of each other without hesitance. So the only order is with regards to placing them on top of a Chumash, which is forbidden. However, to place a Ksuvim on top of a Navi or vice versa is mutter. That is all the information given in this regard in the Shulchan Aruch. So there's a lot of questions left open. What is the status of Torah Shebal Peh, such as Gemara and Mishnah and their commentaries? Can then they be placed on top of each other? So the answer is that it's mutter and there's no halachic limitations regarding placing Sefarim of Torah Shebal Peh on top of each other. So a person can place a Mishnah Brura on top of a Gemara, and he can place others from on top of Gemara, and there's no level of precedence. This is learned from the fact that it's omitted from Shulchan Aruch and from the fact that there's no order by Nevi'im and Ksuvim, so it's a kol shekain. We can learn out from there. As well, it's based on the Magen Avram and Orach Chaim, chapter 25:4, that states that the custom of honoring Sefarim and not placing them on top of each other is only regarding a Chumash, meaning Torah Shebechsav and not Torah Shebal Peh. Nevertheless, we do find some daily Yisrael that were machmir upon themselves not to place certain Sefarim on top of Gemaras and to treat the basic Sefarim of halacha with their due holiness and not place other Sefarim on top of them. So is recorded in the Leket Yesher, page 59, the name of his teacher, the Trumas Hadeshen, over 500-600 years ago, that he records that the Trumas Hadeshen would not place a Sefarim on top of each other. It's also told that the Rebbe one time removed a sicha that was sitting on top of a Shulchanaruchharav. But nevertheless, from the letter of the law, there is no hakpada, there is no halachic limitations in this regard. Nevertheless, of course, Sefarim of Torah Shebal Peh, including a Gemara, may not be placed on a Chumash or Nevi'im or Ksuvim because they are Torah Shebechsav. Regarding a Siddur, so the custom of the Minhag Yisrael, the custom is to treat a Siddur the same way as we treat Tanach, Nevi'im, Ksuvim, and we don't place other Sefarim of Torah Shebal Peh on top of a Siddur. And we don't place a Siddur on top of a Chumash. And the reason for this is because since the Siddur contains many verses from Nevi'im and Ksuvim, so we treat it with the same status as Nevi'im and Ksuvim, so we don't place other Sefarim on top of it. Regarding Tanya, so it's a Chabad custom, it's a custom of Chassidim based on a letter of the Rebbe Rayatz, which equates that the Kedusha of Tanya was held by Chassidim similar to the Kedusha of a Chumash, and therefore Chassidim are accustomed to be careful not to place other Sefarim, any other Sefarim on top of a Tanya, including a Chumash. It's recorded that the Rebbe at times would go into the Zal, the Beis Medrash, and remove Sefarim from the top of a Tanya, including a Chumash. On the other hand, of course, it's forbidden to place a Tanya on top of a Chumash, as the Chassidic Hergish does not change the letter of the law that Chumash is retains the most holiness, and nothing may be placed on top of it. And so it's also recorded that the Rebbe at times would remove a Tanya from on top of a Chumash. The Rebbe's secretary, Mordechai Isaac Chodakov, writes in his Sefer Hachinuch V'Mechanech that one should educate children regarding this topic of Kedusha Sefarim and learn from the Rebbe, who would specifically go out of his way many times to remove Sefarim that are not meant to be on top of each other. So from this we learn about the importance of making sure, taking care of the order of the Kedusha of the Sefarim.